welcome to another edition of Wrestletalk. It's great to be back. We we couldn't put a show on last week. I had some other obligation, so we haven't been on for a few weeks. So we're back, and today we have a guest with us from the Pros of Wrestling, the owner Daniel POLINSKY. He's also the father of WWE announcer Corey Graves and his son Sam Adonis, who also wrestles around the world, including in Japan and all across the world. He wrestles as well. So we'll be talking to Dan in a few minutes. Smokin Jim, welcome to the program. Smokin Jim Frazier, co-host.
Hey, this is my favorite thing to do each and every week, buddy.
Oh, you know it, talking wrestling. Yes, indeed. There's nothing like this program, that's for sure. All right, let's get to our guest here, who's been patiently waiting in the waiting room here. Dan POLINSKY. Dan, welcome to the program.
Thanks, Ralph. It's good to be here again.
All right, Dan's has been a steady guest here. He runs a independent wrestling organization called the Pros of Wrestling, and I already have the graphic ready because their next event is coming up in March. Let me see if I can find it. But first, we're going to go. We're going to take care of some of our sponsors. Our studio sponsor, Mata Heating and Air Conditioning, 724-2010-500. Mata Heating and Air Conditioning. And also, Dan, today is brought to you in part by the original Hometown Pizza, Moon Township, University Boulevard, 412-264-4444. Hey, Robert Morris is playing this Saturday. Stop by and get a pizza. Also, don't forget the high school games going on. Stop and get a pizza. Or if you're on your way to Pittsburgh International Airport and you don't want to pay high prices for the food out there, get yourself a pizza before you get on the airplane. The original Hometown Pizza, Moon Township. Call 412-264-4444. Mention my name. Get a discount on your order, eat-in, takeout, and delivery in the Moon Township area. All right, Dan, let's put up this your graphic here. Let's see. I just put it up. Let me see here if I have it. I think I do. Oh, wait, maybe not. No, this is the one from last week. Wait, I thought I had it up here. No, I do not, but I will for next week, I promise. Okay. Definitely we'll have the graphic up. But tell us, Saturday you had an event at the Tesla Center out in Route 8. Tell us a little bit about that event. That I was there. It was a great event as usual. You guys put on a great show. Tell us a little bit about that event.
Well, it was our normal, I like to call it our bread and butter show up at the Tesla Crystal Room on Route 8, right in Butler. And what we did was our normal style matches. That's a great venue, but we did 7 matches and a couple tag team matches and things like that. I had a really big crowd. The place was pretty well packed out. You know, at the end of the night, you know, we know that we had a very hot crowd that was really into it. You were there, Ralph, so you saw firsthand. So,
you know it.
yeah. So we had some of our core wrestlers come in, and you know, we added another couple that you're not normally seeing around here. So you know, it was a really good show and went over very well with the fans. And people are already asking us when we're coming back.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's sort of like your like you know, a lot of these companies, they have home bases. That's like your home base now, correct?
Yeah, we do we started years ago running up there, and then we went away for a while. You know, wrestling was kind of cooling off. The crowds were not quite as large as what they had been. So we went away for a few years. And, you know, now that we were getting ready to start back, one of the reasons it made us start back was we were getting so much feedback the last several years from people up in that area wanting to know whenever we were coming back to town to start up with wrestling again. And we were really welcomed, you know, very warmly. A lot of wrestling fans that used to come to our shows continue to come to our shows from the old days. And we've got another whole new following of people that are coming that weren't at the old shows that we did up there. So, you know, between both of those followings, you know, we got a pretty daggone good crowd going to these shows, and they're very loyal. And, you know, once again, you saw the crowd. So for an independent show to be able to draw that many people, that's really a nice thing to be able to say.
Well, you know, when I was at the event in Monroeville that you had, I always pick on the refs. I say, do your job, ref. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I saw a guy there who saw me at the Monroeville thing. And again, I was like, do your job, ref. You know what I mean? And he saw me and he goes, "You know what? You were at the Monroeville thing doing the same thing." I said, "Yeah, at least I'm consistent." You know what I'm saying? You know. So
we have loyal followers, you know, and we never know who's going to show up where, you know, but they do. They travel depending where we're at. And I think all the indie promotions pretty much have their certain groups of people that, you know, they're almost like concert groupies. You know, they follow you wherever you go. They show up, but they're loyal, and you know, it's kind of fun because they tend to know how to enjoy wrestling. And a lot of times, people that, you know, maybe it's their first time out, they kind of let loose because they see what these people do, and they kind of follow their lead, you know. And again, there's nothing better than a really live crowd, a very loud crowd, and the wrestlers themselves really love that because it just inspires them to go out there and work harder, you know, do more because of the recognition they're getting from the fans.
Yeah, it was nice to see a couple guys, Jamie Jameson and Vic Braun, who we've interviewed on this program there. And, you know, I saw Jamie. He saw me. He said, "Ralph, it's good to see you," when he came up to the ring, and he came up and he gave me a high or you know, slapped my hand, and he says, "Good to see you." I said, "Same here." So, you know, it was nice to see Jamie there, and as well as Vic Braun, who is a steady at your shows, and that's great to hear. He was Smokin. Jim, you have any questions for Dan?
No, I don't.
All right, but Dan, tell us a little bit about this March event coming up. It's in Ross Township. It's at the community center, I believe. Is that correct?
It's going to be at Ross Township at the community center. This is going to be an unusual show. I think it's going to be a very large show. In fact, we just put the tickets on sale yesterday, and we've already got probably over 15 ringside seats already sold the first day. And the show's months off. It's not till March 15th.
Right.
So it's going to be a tribute to Bruno Sammartino and Studio Wrestling. These are two things that there's still a lot of people around the Pittsburgh area that still, you know, were fans of that back, and we're definitely big Bruno fans. And, you know, they talk about them all the time online. There's certain people, certain groups on Facebook. They're all about Studio Wrestling Days and Bruno Sammartino and things like that.
That Bruno was an Italian. And I mean, you know, and a lot of Italians, you know, like my family, my mom's side of the family is Italian, and we went to see Studio Wrestling, or went to see wrestling down at the old Civic Arena just to see Bruno. I mean, that, you know,
he has always had a huge following, and he still does.
Yes.
And you know, and so we're working. His son Daryl is working with us on this production, and we've got some other people, you know, around the Pittsburgh area, well-known people, and we're putting together a really nice card. It's going to have some people on the show that some of you have never seen before. We got a few surprises that we're lining up for the show. We're even getting in contact with some of the Studio Wrestling, since most of the people that were on there, they're no longer with us, but their families are. So we're actually going out and inviting their family, their children, to be our guests at the event. And we will recognize them at the event, that sort of thing. So I'm not going to give away everything right now, but there's going to be a lot of great things going on there that night. So it would behoove everybody to, you know, get some tickets,
line up and get some tickets, get a hold of the pros of wrestling.com. And Dan, you could throw a phone number. I definitely will have that graphic here next week. So
it's fine.
you know,
you can get a hold of, you know, me. My telephone number is 412-335-1622. And what I'm going to do is, if you call me, mainly to answer questions about the show, but the best way to get tickets is if you go on to Facebook, go to Pros of Wrestling, and look us up on Facebook, and then it'll show you an event page, and it'll take you to a site called Eventbrite, and you could buy your tickets with credit cards and things like that right offline. And it's a real simple process. In fact, we use that outlet for every one of our shows, so people don't have to stand in line waiting to get tickets the night of the event. Again, for this event, it would behoove you, if you want to get first row or second row, I wouldn't waste time getting tickets, because we were amazed this far out.
You may not be able to get a ticket.
I'm sorry?
You may not be able to get a ticket.
Well, you may not, you know, and again, we don't know how many people to expect, but we are expecting a pretty good sized crowd. And this venue that we're in is very large, very nice. And I'm sure we could accommodate whoever shows up. But again, there's going to be a lot of neat surprises there. We're going to be giving out a few nice things. We're going to be doing some raffles, things like that. So it's going to be a fun night out. There'll be lots of food and refreshments like always. And but this show is going to be a step or two above the rest. I can tell you that much.
All right, Smokin' Jim and I definitely will be there for that show. I want to post this right here. I received this on Saturday, and I want to thank Bill Neal, and I want to thank Smokin' Jim Frazier and the Achieving Greatness for this award. I tell you what, man, I'm so thankful to have this award, because it's been a while since I have received any kind of an award, and it was so nice that I got this award. I did a double header here on Saturday, and I normally don't do that because of my condition, but I had to do it. I promised you I'd be there, and I was there at the event with my mom. She wanted to go so bad to see another one of these wrestling events.
Good.
And, so we were on our way out there, and she says, "How far is this place?" I said, "Mom, we pass it all the time when we go to Ponderosa." I said, "So, yeah, so, it's that Tesla. Oh, that place." I said, "Yeah, that place." So
it's a great venue. Everybody that goes there, we get remarks all the time on this is the nicest venue of anybody.
Yeah, it is. I DJ'd there many times.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they kept the chandeliers. I really am.
And a little tidbit of information, and I'm not going to share the cost, but the general manager told me earlier that day that within the last day or so, they had all of those chandeliers cleaned. And it cost a whopping sum of money to have a company go in there, and they take every one of those crystals and they wipe and clean every one of those crystals on those massive chandeliers. And it is quite an undertaking, but he says they have to do it all the time because people are eating in there and everything else. So, you got to keep the place clean. So, they go over and above to keep that place really nice like they.
Trapper Tom LaJerky as well. He received also the Achieving Greatness Award. He's the ring announcer for KSWA Wrestling, who actually is having an event coming up here real soon. It's a toy drive as well. It's going to be at the Sheridan American Legion, Post 496 on December the 7th, I believe it. Yeah, December the 7th, 6 p.m. start time. Ron Garvin will be there, former NWA World Champion and also WCW wrestler. Ron Garvin will be there, and that's going to be an interesting. It's their toy drive for Christmas. So don't forget to show up there for that event on December 7th. So you guys decided to not have any more events until March, Dan, and put on a really good spectacular. Is that the plan?
Actually,
Brewers doing the same thing.
Yeah, well, no, actually, we are doing another show that we haven't really advertised, that heavily yet. At least I haven't put it on Pros of Wrestling, but we are doing another show down at the Pittsburgh Winery in February. And you'll start seeing that.
Yes.
You'll start seeing that pop up.
Yeah,
you'll start seeing that pop up because the first time we were in the winery here about a month or so ago, maybe 6 weeks ago, we had a great show. I mean, it was just unbelievable. And we had a great crowd, and the people at the winery, they were the ones that actually came to us and asked us to come back in again and do it because it was a success. And we're going to do it again in February. So keep an eye out, Pros of Wrestling on Facebook, Twitter, X, as we call it now. Keep an eye on all these things because you're going to start seeing those posters pop up very, very soon. But if you want to have a good time and go into the city on a weekend and go into a great venue and see some really great wrestling, that is definitely a fun night out.
Oh, I have been to the City Winery, and it is a nice place. I was there for a banquet with Ryan Shazier, and it was a nice thing brought to you by Draft Nation. I was there. It's a very nice facility. It really is a nice place.
It is, and so also too, Ralph. Another thing too, I don't know if I really went into detail, but our show that's in March, that is in conjunction with the Pittsburgh Area Food Bank. So the proceeds from that are going to go to the food bank, and we're also going to have hopefully a large food drive where we're going to ask the fans that do come if they could bring a dry good or a canned good of some type, and they're going to be collecting food at that event also before the event. So again, the food bank is they're going to be advertising it heavily also. So once again, with all the things going on there, I think it's going to be a heck of a good event.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Smoking Jim, you have any questions for Dan before I let him go?
No, I'm just enjoying listening out to
Uh,
you guys, man.
uh,
Amazing.
all right, Dan. Thanks for being part of the program. Say hello to your son for me, and
Okay.
or your sons. Actually, both of them. Say hello to them for
Or
me.
my daughter-in-law, I mean, they're all in it, right? So
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I know. Smoking Jim has ran into Carmella a few times out in Monroeville or something.
yeah,
So but yeah, but say hi to everybody for us, and sooner or later, I'd like to get them on. So
yep,
as
we'll
soon as
do
we
it.
can. So
Okay,
all right, thanks, Dan. You have a
sounds
great day.
great, guys. You do the same. Take care. Bye
All right,
bye.
Dan Polinsky from the Pros of Wrestling, and he's also the father of WWE announcer Corey Graves and his other son Sam Adonis, who wrestles all across the world. Smoking Jim, your thoughts on what Dan had to say?
I'll tell you what, man. He's just a. You talk about a gentleman, man. Not only is he a great promoter, but he's believable. When he speaks, you can tell that he's a very honest guy. He's a gentleman. He believes in what he's doing. He's convicted. He's got years experience doing it, and I hope everybody turns out in March, man, and really shows up for a great cause in conjunction with Bruno Sammartino.
Oh yeah. Okay, we're gonna get started with let's see here. I think it's okay, yeah, we're gonna get started with AEW here. Full Gear's coming up. And it's in Newark, New Jersey. But I have some real disturbing news here about AEW that I got today, Smoking Jim, that I want to talk about. And let's talk about this here. I found out that the beginning of 2025, Smoking Jim, they are going to play in venues the size of NXT's. Okay, the venue that they're at, the Performance Center. They're going to downsize the event, the spaces that they go to. They're going to go to smaller facilities. I saw this coming years ago, and when I heard from Conan, when Conan said that the first couple years that AEW was around, they lost $50 million each year back to back, and they have not turned a profit since they have been in existence. And now I think I've mentioned this many times on this program and on our other wrestling shows that AEW now, Tony Khan's father is now involved in the wrestling end of this, and they've starting to cut wrestlers. They're starting to downsize some things, and now I'm hearing in 2025, Smoking Jim, they are going to downsize the crowds because they're not getting the crowds that they thought they were going to get at these bigger places. Smoking Jim, your thoughts on this AEW thing here, this story here?
Well, I don't believe it. I'll never believe it. I watch it every week on TV, and it's packed to the rafters. So they can't make any money. Just wrestling in NXT size venue.
But I heard they're downsizing
Everybody,
to something
I
like
don't
that.
believe it. I
Yeah.
don't believe it. I don't
I
believe it.
I don't know if I
So,
can either because and now Vince Russo is saying he told us so because he was the one that said they were going to be downsizing to smaller arenas. And I said to myself, you know what? I don't believe that either. But this story didn't come from Vince Russo. This came from somebody else. But Vince Russo was involved a little bit into the story by saying he told you so. Okay. And, I don't really watch anything Vince Russo does or says because half of what he says is full of baloney. Okay. And I don't have the time to listen to him. You know what I mean? And his baloney. But
uh-huh.
Conan, he was right when he did say, every year since they've been in existence, AEW, they have lost money. And he knows because he's been involved with AEW. And he said that they've lost money every year. They've never turned a profit. And now the father of Tony Khan is now involved in this. And I heard he's making some of the key decisions. They've cut some wrestlers down. They moved some shows around and done some different things that they're trying to, do some stuff. And, so we'll see where it goes. And if that's true or not, I don't know. It's a report. And sometimes reports can turn into rumors and rumors can turn into baloney. And I think we all pretty much know that, right? Smoking Jim?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
exactly. So, all right. Also, while we're on the topic of AEW, the Hurt Syndicate has gotten bigger by one man. My question to you is, who do you think the fourth man's going to be right now, or the fourth person involved here? Right now, we have Bobby Lashley, Sheldon Benjamin. Rumors are Cedric Alexander could be involved. His contract's been up with the WWE. He's been floating around the independents a little bit. They're still trying to recruit Swerve Strickland, I believe. Now I heard they reached out to Private Party. The Acclaim. They've been really trying to recruit people from within, or do you think they bring some more in from the outside? What do you think here?
Man, that's a good question for you, Ralph. What do you think, buddy?
Well, I think MVP is going to have to go to the outside because, see, a lot of people don't trust MVP because of some of the slick things he's done over the years. Remember when he was a part owner of TNA and how he screwed over
Yeah.
Dixie Carter and he did a few other stupid things. And then there's been like the Street Profits now. They say that Bobby Lashley and MVP promised them all kinds of stuff when he was with them and never did anything. Nothing never happened with them. So, I don't know if MVP can really be trusted. And in the words I did in the locker room there. And but at Full Gear, I hear there's going to be the return of Kenny Omega. And Kenny has been wrestling with New Japan Wrestling, and he's been wrestling across the world, trying to get himself back from the ring rust, get himself back in order. It's great to hear Kenny Omega may be coming back. Your thoughts on Kenny Omega?
Oh man, that's big time, brother.
Yes, it is. Yes. Do you think Orange Cassidy will ever win the title? I don't know. I don't know if he'll win it from John Moxley. Do you think he'll win it from John Moxley?
He's very popular right now. He's talking.
Yes.
He's talking a little bit more, especially this past week. Man, he took over the mic quite a bit.
Yeah.
And so I think there's a possibility. He's just so little, man.
Yeah.
But he can wrestle.
Oh man, I tell you what, we've seen him, you and I, in some matches where he's upset some people I never thought he could beat. I mean, over the years, and he's been a great wrestler, and it's interesting to see where speaking of John Moxley, where his group, where he goes with this Death Rider group here that he has going on here. It's a reboot of the Black Hole Combat Club, but they added Pac to the group. And so we're going to find out, and got rid of, well, of course, Bryan Danielson retired. So, that's going on. Some of the championships that's going on right now, Christian Cage, he's got that briefcase or whatever he's holding there, kind of like the Money in the Bank kind of thing or whatever. He can use it anytime he wants. Do you think you'll ever see him and Moxley fight, or do you think he'll hold on to that case until somebody else gets it? What do you think?
Woo.
He can't hold on to that case very long. He can't hold on for that. There's a timetable on that one. So I mean,
Yeah.
And
Moxley, man, Moxley, he don't even have to wrestle, man. His presence out there, man. He's just natural.
I love it. No, I do. I love John Moxley. I always have. I always, even when he was Dean Ambrose, I loved him as a wrestler. I thought he was a good wrestler. So, but we're going to talk about WWE shortly here. A few more tidbits here with AEW before we get into WWE. We got a lot to talk about there. The Kevin Owens situation, Rey Mysterio. We got some news, sad news about him that we'll talk about, and also we're going to talk about the Survivor Series coming up. Some of the teams, the cards, what's going to happen with the old bloodline, some of the stuff that just went on in Raw and SmackDown over the last week or so. We'll get into that as well. But AEW Private Party has the tag team belts. They just beat FTR in a match, I believe. Your thoughts? How long do you think Private Party holds on to these titles?
I tell you what, they're pretty good, man.
Yeah.
A lot better than I thought, man. So it's possible, man. They got a lot of energy. They got chemistry together. They know each other's moves. So they could there's a possibility they could hold on to that for a while. What you think?
I believe they could. They're a popular team. They were trained by the Hardys. Remember when the Hardys were there? And
Hmm.
Matt Hardy trained them. So I think a lot of the stuff, a lot of the wrestling that they're doing right now is from that. They absorbed or what they could from Matt Hardy. Speaking of the Hardys, they are the tag team champs right now with TNA Impact Wrestling. You still have Nick Nemitz over there. Moose is now the X Division champion, believe it or not. And then you have Moose now. I think Moose has held just about every title they have almost. I think he's a Grand Slam champion there at TNA. And I believe when he retires, or he'll be going to their Hall of Fame over there. Moose, he's holds another title, and we're going to see what happens there as well. I wanted to talk about 7 guys who could possibly go into AEW that we're going to talk about right now. Here, I got to get this list here. Let me get this list up. But I saw a situation where I read an article that there's going to be 7 people who are going to come over to, oh, here they are, to AEW. That could happen. I'm not saying it's going to, but it could happen. Okay. Publication, which is the same name as us, Wrestletalk, says that there's 7 possibilities, debuts coming soon. All right. I'm not going to tell you who the number one, well, believe it or not, they went to the number 1 first. You ready for this?
Uh-huh.
Contract's getting ready to run out. Kevin Owens. That's number 1. Okay. It's Kevin Owens. Okay. Let's see here where we're at here. All right. Hang on. I got to get to the next page. I got to see where we're at. Okay. There we go. Yep. Look at this here. Okay. Yeah. Well, 7 debuts coming soon. And one of them is going to be Kevin Owens. Mustafa Ali is number 2. Okay. Josh Alexander is number 3. I do know that. And I'm trying to find this list again here. But those are 3 of the 7 that I'm able to name you that are really thinking about coming there. Also, AJ Curtis, formerly known as Top Dollar, is also coming. Your thoughts on these 4 guys, at least of the 7 that I was able to mention, because I can't seem to find the other 3 names that are coming to AEW.
Well, I tell you what, man, that's gonna do nothing but booster on an already great product with AEW. Man, those guys are headliners.
All right, the Human Spider says something I used to say years ago: Smoking Jim, get the popcorn popping and the soda's pouring. I used to say that years ago. So it's good to see the Human Spider getting involved here. That was an old thing I did back in the day on PCTV in the 90s when I had Sports Talk with Ralph Williams. That was what's going on there. So I'm sorry, Smoking Jim. Your thoughts on those, at least those 4 wrestlers coming in?
No, I already commented.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear what you were saying because I was trying to get the comment up and I was trying to find the other 3 wrestlers here. Sorry.
That's okay.
All right. So, all right. Anyway, your thoughts on Swerve Strickland? Where does he go from here? He's fighting Sheldon Benjamin, in the Hurt Syndicate. They're calling themselves. Do you think he joins it eventually, or what do you think he's going to do? Stay on his own, or what? What do you think he's going to do?
Well, I think Lashley's going to beat the snot out of him. They put a pretty severe beating on him last week.
Yeah, I saw part of that. Yeah, I did.
And they threw his little minion out of the ring, his manager out of the ring. So he's no protection for him. So I think eventually you either join them or be like the Hurt Business is like the Bloodline. If you don't join them, you're gonna get beat on every week. So
yeah, that is the case. So but yeah, exactly. So all right, let's see what we got here. Trying to look for the Full Gear card here too. Let's see, match card. Let's see what we got. Smokin' Jim for Full Gear. That's this Saturday on pay-per-view. Can't watch it like you normally do, on Peacock or anything like you do a WWE match or whatever. You have to pay for it. So, so anyway, but let's see what we got here. Okay, AEW World match, John Moxley versus Orange Cassidy. Your thoughts on that match?
No, I'm not going to go. I'm not going to go against John Moxley.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with you on that one. How about TBS Championship match? Mercedes Moné versus Chris Statlander. That ought to be a really good match. Your thoughts on that one?
Ooh, the CEO.
Oh, yes, you know it, man. You know it. You know it. The TNT Championship match. Jack Perry versus Daniel Garcia. Do we see Garcia get his first championship? Or, well, you know what? Jack Perry's a lonely man right now. He doesn't have the Young Bucks there with him. So, your thoughts on Jack Perry and Daniel Garcia?
I'm not sure. What you think on that one, Ralph?
I smell upset. It's Daniel Garcia's time. I smell upset.
Okay.
Jack Perry doesn't have his friends with him. He doesn't have that one Oriental wrestler. I forget his name. And the Young Bucks, they're injured. They're out. So Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher. Your thoughts on that one?
Ooh.
That's going to be an interesting match there. I think Kyle Fletcher wins. I think the Don Callis family gets involved. I think that Kyle Fletcher wins that match. I mean, I like Will Ospreay. You know what I mean? Yeah. But you have to agree, he doesn't stand a chance as long as Kyle Fletcher has the Don Callis family there. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Jay White versus Hangman Page. I'm taking Hangman in this one. I like Jay White. Great wrestler. But I'm sorry. Hangman's too psychotic. I take him.
Yeah.
So
Hangman, yeah.
Bobby Lashley versus Swerve Strickland. This is a toss-up because I like both guys. This is a toss-up, Smokin' Jim. What do you think?
I think Bobby's gonna crush him.
Oh, you know who I'm taking in this next match, don't you? MJF versus Roderick Strong. I'm taking MJF. You know it by a long shot.
Yeah.
Four-way match for the AEW Tag Team titles. Private Party versus the Outrunners versus the House of Black versus the Acclaim. Wow, that's going to be an interesting fatal four-way there. I don't know. This is a toss-up here because Private Party, I don't even know if they've even been involved in a match like this before. And the Acclaim, they've been around. So I don't know, House of Black too. And don't spell out the Outrunners. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm going to call this a toss-up match, Smokin' Jim. What do you think?
Yeah, toss-up.
All right, zero hour Costco guy AJ versus QT Marshall. This is the 0 hour match before the pay-per-view. Your thoughts on this match? I take QT Marshall. I never go down with him. I
tell you what, man, I can't call that one, bro.
QT Marshall's a good wrestler. He always wins his matches.
Yes, he is.
Yes, he is. He don't wrestle much, but when he does, he always does well. So, All right, let's get into our WWE segment here. But first, we got to pay a couple bills here, so we're going to get into that. Let's see here. We're in the Mata Heating and Air Conditioning Studio, 724-2010-500 Mata Heating and Air Conditioning. Call Mata today for all your furnace needs, snow melt, and also don't forget about the UV lighting as well. And tomorrow night's Ralph's Opinion show has been postponed. I have a Zoom meeting that I have to attend, and I have my transit council meeting before that. And both meetings are going to be coincide with one another. So no Ralph's Opinion tomorrow. So we'll be back after Thanksgiving. We will be back after Thanksgiving. So just to let everyone know about that as well. And don't forget about Saturday, the triple header of Ralph starts at 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. The Ralph Williams Show. My guest, Gabe Molesky, who's involved in those billboards that you see all across the city. Sell the team, Bob Nutting, and I'll be giving my opinion about different things as well, different topics. So tune into the Ralph Williams Show, the McCormick Casey debacle, and a whole lot more. We'll be talking about that Saturday, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., 12:50 a.m., 92.5 FM, The Answer. And also, don't forget at 9 a.m. on the on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter X platforms. We have the External Bum Show, and also on Huddle Sports Network on Roku. We have the External Bum Show with me, Ralph Williams, Scott Morgan, Ralph Leo Haggerty, and Jeremy Ballrick. Filling in this week for Scott Morganroth will be Will Akins, and Will's been on this program. We've had him on before on the show here. I had him on for the post-game show on Sunday after the Steeler game, and Will comes on. He does a show here in Pittsburgh called the Pittsburgh Sports Desk. So we're going to have Will come on and join us and fill in for Scott Morganroth. So join us this Saturday morning at 9 a.m. for the External Bum Show. We talk bums and sports and a whole lot of other topics as well. And here's the big one, Smokin' Jim. Ralph Williams, Smokin' Jim Frazier, Claudio Rosano, and Luther Dupree, the best, the number one sports talk show in Pittsburgh right now, every Saturday, 2 to 3 p.m., 12:50 a.m., 92.5 The Answer. Nobody beats the four of us, and nobody ever will. So there you go. All right. All right, Smokin' Jim, let's get into the WWE. Some sad news. Rey Mysterio's father passed away this week, or last week, or over the weekend. Your thoughts, Rey Mysterio and his father passing away?
Well, that's sad. Hopefully, Dom will go to the funeral.
Yeah, I don't mean that jokingly, but yeah, I get it. Yeah.
So at least he had his father all these years, right?
Yes, exactly. And his father, he was pretty. He was in his 80s, I think, when he died. I believe. So all right, Smokin' Jim. Let's get to it. Kevin Owens. All right, he has destroyed Randy Orton. Randy Orton may never wrestle again. He's got a cervical in his spine injury and may not wrestle again. The rumors are out there. Nick Aldis may be putting the tights back on and going after Kevin Owens for doing this. There's also, if you heard this past Friday on SmackDown, when Nick Aldis said to Cody Rhodes, "We're taking care of it in-house." And I have a weird feeling that this rumor that I'm hearing of Nick Aldis putting the tights back on could be happening. And the story I'm hearing, and from what I've read from some publications here, that it's going to be Nick Aldis at either Royal Rumble or Survivor Series, probably Royal Rumble, or Nick Aldis versus Kevin Owens. Your thoughts on this Kevin Owens situation with what he did to Randy Orton? I think he should be fired because he used an illegal move that has been banned from the WWE since Ray the Crippler Stevens did it on Superfly Snuka. It's been banned since then. Okay, it's been banned because of Owen Hart used it as well. Okay, when he injured Stone Cold Steve Austin, it's a move that's been banned from the WWE for many years, and I think that Kevin Owens should have immediately been fired, terminated, gone. See you later, toodaloo, goodbye. But we're busy dinking around here. So far, there hasn't been a match set up between Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes, and I don't even think there will be. Because as I mentioned before, I'm thinking Nick Aldis could be going up against Kevin Owens. I don't know if Randy Orton's coming back. What are your thoughts on this whole scenario?
Well, Kevin Owens is capable of ending anybody's career. I mean, if these guys is rushing to get in the ring with Kevin Owens, and they could be making a mistake in their career. Kevin Owens is a vicious dude. He's lethal. He'll resort to anything when it comes to when he's over the edge. He's over the edge, man.
Yes.
And
yeah.
And if Nick Aldis want to put on some tights and get back in the ring, he may not make it out of the ring. So Kevin Owens is a fighter, man, and he's a vicious dude. And so, hey, If you're not going to suspend him, if you're not going to kick him out of the WWE, then you got problems on your hands getting in the ring with Kevin Owens. You never know what might happen.
All right, next, Smokin' Jim, who's the fifth man on the Roman Reigns team with the Bloodline versus the Bloodline? Right now, they're having trouble finding people. I know we saw the new Bloodline recruited Bronson Reed. I call him Bronson Reed. Big Bronson Reed. And he just beat Seth Rollins last night because of interference from the new Bloodline. And your thoughts on this? Do you think Seth Rollins does finally come around and work with Roman Reigns, or do you think they have to look in another direction?
Seth Rollins is the logical choice. I mean, he's going to get tired of the bloodline interfering, the new bloodline interfering with Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed, once they interfered, I mean, Bronson Reed put that, I don't know what he calls it when he comes off the turnbuckle, man, but
that's tsunami. Yeah,
the tsunami. You can't. I mean, that can put you on the shelf for months. So he's going to equalize things. He's going to have to swallow his pride. Roman Reigns going to have to swallow their pride. And they came up together, right? Am I right?
Yeah, they came up as the Shield. They were in NXT together. They all came up as the Shield. And all three of them were in NXT at one time. And they won the NXT tag team belts and whatnot together. One of them, I think it was Seth, or maybe it was Dean, that was also the NXT heavyweight champion. So, I mean, they've all come up together. And, like Seth Rollins called him a narcissist, or, a narcissist, and says, I refuse to work with that tyrant. So, I mean, but I think after what happened last night, I think you could possibly be right. I think Seth Rollins will be the fifth man in this match. I believe that to be the case.
Do you think that
the wise man coming back?
Do you think Heyman will come back?
I believe he will. If Seth Rollins turns him down, I've heard rumors of this name, and I hate to be the bearer of bad news, everybody, but you could see Brock Lesnar involved in this match. So I mean, they have to have a fifth man.
And what capacity? With Roman Reigns?
Here's what I'm thinking. If they can't recruit Seth Rollins, all right, and they get the wise man involved in this in this thing, he has friends. And the first person I think he's going to call to help Roman Reigns out, believe it or not, is going to be Brock Lesnar. Because you think about this for a second, or Cody Rhodes might even want to try it. I mean, there was even, you and I have discussed the team pairings already. Some of them had Cody Rhodes. Some of them had, who knows? Cody might even get involved. But I think he don't want anything more to do with the bloodline. So I think he's staying away from it. He has his own problems. You know what I mean?
Who's that?
Cody Rhodes. That?
Well, let me ask you this: who's the big giant that runs around the ring and knocks people out?
Braun Strowman.
Do you think that's a possibility?
That could be a possibility too. He hates Bronson Reed. Yes, indeed. Yeah. I didn't think of Braun Strowman. He's still hurt. He pulled a groin in that match against Bronson Reed, and he's been out for a few weeks. But I hear he could be coming back. And then there's another story going around that even if he doesn't get involved in this match with the bloodline, he could be involved in a traditional. There hasn't been announced a men's team yet. Hasn't even been announced for the Survivor Series. I don't even know who the men's team is going to be. There's supposed to be a traditional Survivor Series match with a men's team and a women's team. We saw who the women's teams are last night. So I mean, you got Io Sky, you got Rhea Ripley, you got the tag team champs, and I'm trying to think who the other one is. The fifth one, and I can't. And Naomi against your girl there, Tiffy Time, and Nia Jax, and Liv Morgan. Believe it or not, are going to try to work together. And then you got and Raquel Rodriguez and Candice LeRae. That's the teams for the Survivor Series women's teams. There hasn't even been men's teams really announced. I haven't heard anything. So, but we still have a couple of weeks to go. So, let's see what happens coming up. And don't forget, you got that U.S. New women's U.S. title tournament going on. The match for that will happen at Survivor Series. So we got to figure out who's going to win that. You got L.A. Knight now, which we're going to discuss here. Shinsuke Nakamura's back, so now he's in L.A. Knight's business. So here we are here now. We got that going on. So it's there's a lot of different angles, different things going on right now in the WWE, and I think it's good for what it is. As far as it goes. Then and Gunther versus Damian Priest at Survivor Series, that's going to be an interesting match. Braun Breaker fought last night. Sheamus, I thought that was a good match. So who Braun Breaker fights, if he's even going to be involved in Survivor Series, I don't know. It's a mystery right now. We still have a men's team they got to put together. Cody Rhodes don't have an opponent. So let's see what happens in the next couple of weeks. And next week, we can talk about it because it'll be coming up right after Thanksgiving. The Saturday after Thanksgiving is when Survivor Series will be. But your thoughts on this possible Survivor Series card, the War Games, and everything else?
Man, it's a great time to be a wrestling fan. That's all I got to say.
That's
brother.
it. You got it. You got it right there. And but there was a couple other things here I wanted to talk about here real quick. Let's see. Rey Mysterio, we already talked about that. Gunther, we already talked about all that other. Oh, the Wyatt Six, the Judgment Day, and let's talk about the New Testament or whatever. Miz is now looks like he's part of the Final Testament group. They're going up against the Wyatt Six. Do you see the Wyatt Six coming back and maybe going after the Final Testament, or what do you see here with this?
Ooh, man,
That's going to be a war. That's going to be a war.
Yeah.
So I mean, the Final Testament already won round one of this war, and I'm hearing stories now that the Wyatt Six is going after the Judgment Day. So that could happen. So let's see where this all goes. Judgment Day looks like they're about to have some problems. You got the Dirty Dom going up against Finn Balor. I mean, come on. I mean, that faction looks like they're about to break up. I hear there's jealousy because of Liv Morgan and Rodriguez being in the group. I heard the other guys really don't want them in the group. So Carlito is a waste of time. JD McDonough is a bum. So, I mean, eventually they're going to lose the tag team belts. What do you think about the Judgment Day? Do you think Survivor Series is their breakup, or what do you think?
Nah, there's still some chemistry there. It looked like they were going to split up a little bit, but it looks like they're going to stick. To me, it looks like they're going to stick around for a while longer.
All right, Wyatt Six. What do you think the Wyatt Six is going to do against the Final Testament?
I don't know, man. That's going to be. Ooh, I don't even know if we'll see it. The lights may be all out. So I don't know.
You know what they say, don't you? The lights are out, but the party's over, or something like that.
Yeah.
They're a little bit. What's the word I'm looking for? The elevator hasn't gotten off the ground yet. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
My dad taught me that one. He says, the elevator hasn't got off the ground yet with some folks. You know what I mean? So, but anyway, any final thoughts? Anything you want to talk about here while we're on the topic of wrestling here?
No, I think the women. It's just amazing how hot and beautiful they are and tough at the same time. Man.
I know.
These girls could be on the cover of Playboy and on the cover of Sports Illustrated.
I heard who one of the seven is going to be. Take a guess. I just remember
Who?
now who the fifth person of the 7 that are going to join AEW.
Who?
It's your sweetheart, one of your sweethearts.
One of mine?
She got fired from the WWE.
Oh, Rose.
Mandy Rose.
Mandy Rose. I
Yep.
would love that.
She's on that
man.
list.
Yeah.
She's on that
All
list.
right. All
Yep.
right.
Yep. I had to
Yeah.
think for a minute there, and I remember seeing her name on that list of the 7. Well, I mean, I got 5 of them. I'm trying to remember who the other 2 are, but at least I got 5, of folks who could be going to AEW. So,
Great.
yeah, Mandy Rose. Can you imagine Mandy Rose and Sasha Banks in the same wrestling company again?
Oh my.
Ugh.
That'd be,
Do you know
that'd
what
be
that would
tremendous.
do for AEW's women's division? But I tell you what, though,
Wow.
WWE has a much better women's division. You got to admit. I mean, they really
They
do.
got a good one right now.
Yes, they do.
If they can
And they're,
keep them.
yes.
They can keep them.
Yeah,
All happy. Yeah.
and if Charlotte Flair ever comes back, that's
Oh, I
going to
forgot about her.
yeah, I think she's still out with that knee injury. So, but when she comes back, I'm interested to see what happens between Carmelo Hayes, if we're going to see another match between them and Andrade. I mean, I want to ask you this question. You think that that's getting kind of old? They need to move on to something else with that?
I think it's getting too violent.
Yeah, there you go.
Some of these matches, man. Some of these guys ain't gonna be able to come back from some of this stuff.
Some
man.
of this,
they
yeah.
gotta break. Yeah, they gotta break them cats up, man, because they neither of them got any quit in them, man. One thing I love about Trick Williams, he got a little quit in him.
Yeah,
You know
exactly.
what I mean?
Yeah, I like Trick,
He
man.
got
That's my man,
yeah,
Trick Williams.
yeah,
I'm glad he's a champ
Trick.
again. I'm glad he beat Ethan Page. Because Ethan Page, man, he thinks he's it. He's
If it gets too tough, Trick will quit again, man. He'll give it up. He'll give that belt up because he knows he can win. He knows he can live to fight another day.
That's it.
Carmelo Hayes, them guys, man, they lay it on the line, man. They don't. It's like Gladiator, man. Either win or die. So
that's it.
that's why I'm afraid for Seth Rollins, man. He got to get out of that with Bronson.
Sometimes you got to pack up sometimes you got to pack up your tent and go home. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. That beating at his age is not good, man.
Well, his body's beat down. I did hear again that he's taken some time. He's going to have to smoke in gym, and he won't, but he's going to have to. He's got that bad back injury. He's got to get that back taken care of because I tell you what, it's really affecting him. And I mean, he's got that knee problem. He needs to get a knee drain. I hear he doesn't want to slow down. And Becky Lynch, who knows when and if ever she's coming back. Nobody knows.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, because I know they want to, I guess, how a squirrel puts away nuts and bears put away food to hibernate. I think they want to put away money to be able to not have to wrestle anymore and take care of their daughter. So, I mean, that might be the case. I don't know. You know what I mean? I mean, cost of living can't be that high in Davenport, Iowa. I mean, think about it. Because that's where they're from. That's where they live. Davenport, Iowa. I don't think I don't even know what the tax base is in Iowa. I don't think it's that high. You know what I mean? What you pay here for a $500,000 home, you could probably get there for $50,000 out there in Iowa. I mean, but you're out there in the hickey town out there, man. The only thing Iowa has going for them is college football.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Northern
sir.
Iowa, Central Iowa, and what is it? There, Iowa State.
Iowa Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Iowa State. Yeah. Man.
I cannot believe that Kurt Ferentz is still the coach here. He's going to be like Joe Paterno, man. Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll never get fired, man.
Yeah. You know what though?
I
was talking to a couple people. And we had a conversation, and I think Dave Wannstedt still would be the coach of Pitt. He loved Pitt. He wanted to stay.
Yeah.
He'd be here forever. We wouldn't be where we are now, Pitt. Pitt would have been at least, competing and getting some things done and recruiting. He's a good salesman of the university, and but
Pip work is hard. Pip work is hard. I tell you that.
yes, exactly. So but any final thoughts before we wrap it up here, Smokin' Jim?
No, I can't think anything. Great show, man. Always
Thank you.
enjoy it, bro.
Thank you. Let me see what here. We got a couple late comments here. Let's see what we got here. Hi, says Mary's Lauren. All right. Well, hello. How are you doing? Says Mary's Lauren. We're doing good. Thank you. So that's the comment section. Always welcome. Don't forget to subscribe on my YouTube channel, please. I need 20 more subscribers to make 200. And don't forget to check out my post now on the new social media platform called Blue Sky. I'm also on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. And also I'm on Twitter X as well. And I'm also on Tumblr. And also don't forget about the new one, Blue Sky. Smokin' Jim, tell everybody how they can get a hold of you as well. And tell them about tonight. You'll be on Pittsburgh Sports Line on Bethel Park TV with Al Levine and the boys tonight.
Yes, sir. Facebook, Jim Frazier. Instagram, Smokin' Jim Frazier.
And once again, I want to thank you and the Achieving Greatness Group for the award. And I want to congratulate Trapper Tom from the Keystone State Wrestling Alliance or association there for he also received an Achieving Greatness Award, and it was a pleasure always seeing him as well. And it was nice to see some of the dignitaries there. I want to thank Bill Neal and then for his hospitality. And I got to tell you, it was a great banquet there, Smokin' Jim. I had a great time. It was so nice to be there, meet some new people, and talk with some people. It was nice. The hall was nice. It was just a great thing. So.
And your speech was top of the line, first class, and I don't know who ate more greens, you or Chopper Tom, brother.
No, he did. I didn't eat any greens, Smokin' Jim, because I was afraid. I wasn't sure, and I've had greens before, but the last time I had greens, it was very salty, and I can't have a lot of salt, so I have to be careful.
It must have been Trapper Tom.
He ate a lot of greens, maybe.
He had a couple plates of them greens.
Yeah, I mean, no offense, Smokin' Jim, I love greens, but I can't eat a lot of salt, and I wasn't sure if there was going to be a lot of salt in them greens.
Yeah, a lot of times they do put a lot of salt in greens.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I've, I have to watch my blood pressure, because I have diabetes and stuff like that. I gotta be very careful about eating salty food like that. You know what I mean? That's why I didn't take any. I mean, it was just no offense to anybody, but that's why I didn't take any. So, believe me, I love green spinach. I grew up with spinach. Oh my gosh, when I was little, it was always Popeye, eat your spinach. You know what I mean? So, and then I think how I came into greens. Remember, I've told you.
Yeah.
And I've had some that can cook.
Yes,
so,
sir.
yeah.
Yes,
So, but I'm not going to go there on this program tonight. So, All right. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, great. You're on Twitch. That's good to hear. I'm glad we have some people watching on Twitch. That's nice to hear. Hope you come every week and watch. All right. Until next week, for Smokin' Jim Frazier, I'm Ralph Williams, and it's been a pleasure here for Wrestletalk. Smokin' Jim, have yourself a good night. And we'll be talking next week here on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch platforms. Until then, have yourself a good one, and please be safe.